Hey, Lana, I just wanted to make sure.
And
Yeah. Can
so
we record to our own computer, or you're just going to record for everybody?
you should be able to record. I mean,
No,
I
I
don't,
gotta have permission.
you know,
Send a request.
approve,
Okay, girl.
approve. I've just
Okay.
approved everybody that wants to record it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. You're a lovely person.
Well, don't tell anybody. Okay. I don't want my Scorpio reputation.
Wouldn't want that to get around, eh?
I don't want my Mars conjunct Saturn squaring my Leo moon destroyed. Okay.
Oh,
That, you have to think about that. It's so funny when you say that. I'm like, oh, I'm like Mars conjunct square. Okay. Anyway,
Uh,
Leo moon. Oh, you. Um,
Okay.
do we
So go ahead.
have a time for Lily's passing?
We do. We're
yes.
going to discuss
Can,
that tonight, but
Okay.
we're gonna start out first with let me do a couple of housekeeping things, and
Yeah.
then um, Tara
Chris,
is.
we'll put the chart up and we'll read it at the time so that you can, not only hopefully you can see it, and if you can't, you can hear it.
I'm going to
Good.
share my screen here in a minute.
Yeah, because Gandari was very instrumental in finding out the time.
Good.
So
So
we got a time.
as always, we want everybody's input as we go along, but tonight the way that we've structured this is I'll be the moderator, and Marina will be presenting the material. She's done all the
Yep.
research on it. Um, Please keep your observations succinct. We want to give everybody a chance to be able to voice once Marina gets into the topic at hand. Uh,
Mm.
for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to turn it over to um, Tara, and she is going to lead us into an update on Lily's arrangements because I'm sure everybody's curious. And then also lead us into a meditation for Lily. So, Tara, you ready to go, girl?
morning.
All righty.
Okay.
Um, so the good news is regarding kind of the update on the state of things with Lily, we have found the will. So we're really excited about that because that way that is definitive evidence that Yvonne has financial and asset rights to everything. We have not, there's been nothing that's been set about arrangements yet. I know that Angela, I am blanking on her last name, and Marielle Balsan are
Prosecco.
working. Prosecco, thank you.
Angel Prosecco.
Thank you, Angela Pasecco. And Marielle Balsan are in direct contact with Yvonne. Tentatively, they're thinking something late next month. But right now, they're still just trying to get everything squared away with, the assets, and which is made much, much easier now that the will has been found.
I,
So,
Let me interject. I did talk to Marielle a few minutes ago, and she said that this weekend is when Yvonne has to identify Lily's body. She doesn't want to bring up the arrangements part, the celebration of life, until she feels like that, and I think she's probably right, that there'll be a pretty significant flow of emotion.
mhm.
So we're gonna go at Yvonne's pace. So when we get the input, I will send it out to the people that are on the call and let you know. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tara, back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Lana.
It
Um,
it will definitely be in Houston, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
Yes, it will be in Houston. Um, yeah, there's talk about different areas kind of near Lily's house, but there's nothing been set. But once we have the information, I know Lana will send that out to everybody. Um, so now I would just invite y'all to Join me in a gentle meditation for Lily and Yvonne. If it is within your peace and pleasure, I invite you to close your eyes and find a deep inhale and exhale. Allowing yourself to center into stillness and presence in your space. And as you continue to find your inhale and your exhale, after all, our breath is our initial ritual of receiving and releasing. I invite you to notice not just the connection you have with yourself, not just the connection of the earth and the sky holding you, but also the connection you have with others here tonight. We are all unified here through our connection and our love of Lilly Roddy. Regardless of our geographic time zone, our location, we are all here in community. Through knowing and honoring a courageous soul and beautiful human being. Tonight, we lift up our love and honor Lilly Roddy and her partner, Yvonne Carroll. I invite you to bring your focus to these two radiant souls, Lilly and Yvonne. To send your love, gratitude, and compassion to them. Lifting up our gratitude to Lilly, honoring her work and her journey, not just in the realm of astrology, but in the realm of radical self-acceptance, fierce love for each and every client, each and every person that she worked with, whether it was one session or whether, like so many of us, through friendship. We also lift up love to Yvonne, honoring her work, her journey, and her devotion to Lilly on their shared path. I invite you now to simply hold them in your mind's eye. Taking this time to lift up any messages, any feeling to wish for them. Allowing yourself to receive their energy. Allowing yourself to soften, to allowing yourself to feel whatever may come up. And offering gratitude for your time in knowing Lilly and Yvonne. When you're ready, I invite you to gently open your eyes, coming into soft focus in your space, allowing yourself to return back to the present, back to each other. And allowing yourself, as we move forward with this class and with our night and with our lives, continuing to hold the love, strength, and gratitude that we experienced with Lilly and Yvonne and our connection to them. Carrying that forward as we connect and move through our world. Thank you.
Well done.
That was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. That was beautiful.
Okay. Marina, you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, I will share the screen.
Be sure you put up Lily's chart, please.
I have to get my cat to kind of things. You want her birth chart?
I can give the birth time.
No, I have it. You want the birth chart or do you want the progress?
No, I want the first chart. I sent you notes, the birth chart.
Okay, there it is.
So there it is. So Lilly Roddy's natal chart. We're using a Coke system, house system, and her birth chart is a birth data June 29th, 1952, 10:30 a.m., Port Arthur, Texas. So the moon, I just double checked now. It looks okay. The moon is at 28 Virgo. Okay. Is there a way to make it a little bit bigger, Lana?
I've got it as big as I can get it.
Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Okay, never mind. I just had to get rid of the chat box, so it is bigger.
Okay.
Okay, so um we're here tonight to honor Lilly, and the class really is a bit of a surprise because up until what was it, 9 days ago? Um, or maybe it was 16 days ago. Lilly was teaching classes. And and this happened. And so Lana contacted me. So Lana's the maestro behind all this, and a bunch of us. Like Tara and Casey Waldner and Alicia Solis. And so we kind of developed a steering committee, and our intention was really to just try to continue on with Lily's classes. So I thought it would be timely if we could have a look at Lily's chart, the progressions, and the death chart to see what to try to not so much to predict what was going to happen, because you really can't predict death in the chart, but to do an autopsy, which is maybe poor taste in words, and if so, I apologize. Um, so, like I said, a couple of caveats. I had spoken to local astrologer Kim McSherry, and she said, really, I saw a couple of troubling aspects in Lily's chart after the fact, and she said, you really can't predict death in the chart. So I did some research, and Eileen Nauman, who's a UK medical astrologer, and I don't know if she still practices, but she's written a couple of books on death aspects in astrology, and she specializes in grieving families and medical astrology. So I did some research on that, and she basically said death cannot be predicted definitively. The transits need to be backed up by progressions, and there are other indicators, such as eclipses, that come into play. So what she's saying is that there need to be 2 to 3 pieces of the recipe for death have to be in place before anything serious happens. But that everything happens with progressions. The transit is merely the trigger. So another thing, there is, according to her, there is not just one death aspect opportunity in a natal chart. She says there are roughly 4 to 8 crisis windows that happen, and that, um, you know, on which somebody has to deal with an issue. So the question is, why do people check out? So she believes that it happens in one of 3 ways. That number one, the soul has a purpose that it and a contract that it came in to complete, and that those who are actively on the path they have chosen, they won't check out when a crisis happens or when a window arrives. Number two, those lost and off their whatever their soul contract was when they came in, and I don't think you can always see that from the chart. They might check out when a window arrives. And at number three, somebody who has completed the lessons they came here to learn can also check out. So, to summarize the article, crisis is an opportunity to grow. It does not necessarily mean death. And, Eileen Nauman talks about 4 to 8 crisis windows. I'll take it because I was personally look at 3 to 5, just for the simple reason that, when you have a transit to an outer planet, I'm an astrologer, the same as we all are. When you have a transit to an outer planet, these outer planets going over a personal point in your chart, they can make contact as much as 5 times. So my thing is like, like symbolically, I think things happen in threes, and like the 5 gives a little bit wider latitude to it. So let's look at Lily's chart. Lily, as a T square from the moon and Neptune in the 10th house in Cancer. We're just going to talk about this briefly. And she has opposition to Chiron and Capricorn down in the 4th. And the trigger point is the Saturn in the 1st house at 8 degrees of Libra. So there's a T square there, and that to me speaks about, definitely the Saturn square the Sun. This is somebody who's worked hard to gain self-respect. The Chiron there might have had some issues with authority. And the release point is in the 7th house. So, a Saturn being what it is, Sun, Saturn, and Chiron, there's a big self-worth issue. So she would be able to help to learn herself, and then in turn to help others deal with their own self-worth issues. I know Lily was a big icon for the gay community. She was a wonderful teacher. She's got that very powerful Jupiter in the 9th house at 13 degrees of Taurus. And of course, that powerful pocket in the 12th house, she was really a brilliant researcher, and she used all of that in her work to both counsel clients, to hold emotional space for them, and to um, basically help them with their issues. And the other thing is, with Jupiter and Taurus in the 9th, she gave a lot, her advice that she gave was very practical. And, her strategies were useful, because if it wasn't useful, Lily didn't do it. So, Lana, you've known Lily for quite a while, and have just recently come back into the fold in our class. When Lily passed, we kind of talked about it. Can you share what you said to me about her teaching?
You mean about how she got into it, or about
No, because you felt there was some urgency. I'm
this?
just prompting you.
So I've known Lily for a little over 42 years, and I just sensed in the classes in the last 6 to 8 weeks that there was an insistence and an urgency in what she wanted to convey to us. She would always ask us, "What do you want for me to talk about?" And then when we didn't give her the answer she wanted, she would basically say, "No, we're not. I'm not going to do that. You need to know this. You need to know this." And that was a little more insistent than what I had known of Lily in the past. Now I know that she's got a strong will and she lived her life by that, but I just felt that there was a real strong sense of her wanting us to learn what she wanted us to learn so that we were prepared when she wasn't here. And it was just a gut feel I had that something else was going on and that we were her legacy. And it was important to her to make sure that she passed the baton. And I also picked up on it in terms of when she would, and I know she did this with everybody in the class, but she would write us little notes and say, "Oh, you were really intuitive, and you shouldn't discount what you know because you just don't have a quote unquote certificate or because you haven't been doing it for 30 some odd years." She would reach out to different members in the class because I've had enough conversation now with Casey and Tara and a few others where she would make a point of saying, like she texted me after one of the classes and said, "That was a very intuitive point. You need to rely upon that intuition that you have and have a sense of self-confidence in what you're doing." I know she did the same thing with Marina and basically said, you're qualified, you're capable, go out, do the work. So is that what you were referring to, Marina? That you wanted me to
Yes,
talk about?
I think what I was referring to was that Lily was in a hurry
Yeah.
to do things because on some level, whether she knew consciously, on some level she knew unconsciously that her time was limited.
Well, I can speak with experience because I've lost both of my parents. And when I was talking to Mario tonight, I shared with her that it's been my experience that on some level, people know when they're leaving because they drop little clues here and there. And I think that's probably why I was probably so attuned to it, because I experienced that with my father and my mother both. I think in the sense of a close relationship, like a marriage, you probably are not as willing to discuss those type of things because it can be harder to hear because losing your life partner is such a significant event, even more so than a parent, I think, because you don't expect to be the one to live. But I think, to me, that was the clue, and I think that's what set off that feeling with me, that, as you said, she was in a hurry to convey her message through us and to launch us forward as her legacy.
Yeah. Okay, well, does anybody have any more comments before I put the death chart up or before Lana puts the death chart up?
Well, I have a question. So you talk about Saturn and Libra squaring Chiron in Capricorn
And opposite Venus and the Sun.
And
And a
you're and
T
Uranus.
square, it was a T square, the
and
release
Uranus.
point. It's the opposite.
Doesn't it make a grand square?
It
With-
does.
Well, it may, but I wasn't counting the asteroids. I was looking at the Chiron and Ceres as basically the planets I would deal with tonight. But I mean, Chiron has been so intimately involved in things the last little while that I definitely don't use the asteroids like Lily would have, but I definitely would use that in a chart. I resonate with that energy. So, in the fourth house, like she really was a healer. And, that powerful pocket in the 12th house, she could really sense the undercurrents of things. And she was a digger. So she was aware of subtle currents of energy, which probably explains why, at some point she taught Reiki,
Right.
but, um, definitely, I don't so much get involved with those other asteroids, but definitely Ceres and Chiron, with the planets.
Okay, I was just curious because that's
So the
I don't know if
release
that's
point
a grand square.
are the people that she made a commitment to, whether it was a contractual relationship or as a counselor, or whether it was somebody she knew personally. I mean, the seventh house, these are the people that you have commitments to, and she was very responsible.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments before we put up the death chart?
This is Gandari. Hi
Yes.
guys, I'm in California at a conference, so I'm jumping on as quickly as I can.
Yep.
I would like to address the asteroids at a different class because Lily
Yeah.
would want to address that.
Yes.
Just saying, I'd be happy to hit that up at some point.
Okay.
I would just like to say that I just noticed that Lily would always joke about her Saturn. And even before she took me on as a student, she's like, well, our Saturn's conjunct, you can be my student. I was like, okay, I don't know what that means. And if you think about it, it's like a first house Saturn person that also squares that Sun Venus. It just seemed very karmic to me. And I feel like with a person with such, Saturn in the first, that she did have fucking a karmic life. And that it was very kind of prophetic in that way, because the thing that I feel like Lily commented on the most about her own personal chart, I mean, other than just her being a Cancer and liking like good food and comfortable things, and was her Saturn. And I feel like kind of segueing or going into the death chart, I feel like that is like one of the main things, the Saturn Venus connection, and also looking at like the Venus influence, because it was something that I feel she commented on a lot.
Agreed. And also, the out of sign conjunction with her moon was really significant in the detail she went to be her authentic self as a woman.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, she underwent major surgery to make sure that she was who she was as she felt on the inside. And that's what you just said, Casey, speaks to that,
Thanks.
especially adding the moon.
Okay. Okay, so can we get on to the next chart,
Yes.
Lana, please?
Thanks, Marina.
You want the progress chart?
No, I want the death chart, because what I'm planning on doing is just going through each of these one by one and then putting them together,
Okay.
so that it might hopefully make a bit more sense to what's really going on here.
Okay.
So the death chart for Doc Benton's benefit. This is Gandhari was the person who actually got the time for the death chart. The time of Lilly Roddy's death chart is October the 14th, 2025. His Coke houses again, 9:30 p.m. Houston, Texas. So the moon in the Coke houses it should be at 8:41 Leo. Yeah. Okay, we're good. So in looking at the death chart, it's interesting to me that there's an awful lot of energy. There's a grand trine in air, and the grand trine in air is from Pluto in the ninth. I think it's ninth or yeah, Pluto in the ninth, Uranus in the 12th, and Venus down there. And thank you, Lana. This is so much easier because I can't do that. And Uranus, in the fourth and on the cusp of the fifth. So, I mean, it's a grand trine in air, but not only, which means that there's just so much mental energy in the sky at the time that Lily passed. And a grand trine can do wonderful and creative things, is curiosity, is, mentally stimulating and everything else. But a trine can be lazy. Now, this trine has two kites. So, in other words, in between, in the middle of a couple of aspects for the grand trine, there is another aspect. So, grand trine in air, there are aspects in fire. Neptune on October the 14th, which is up there in the 10th, is in the middle of Uranus and Pluto. So, I mean, I look at the grand trine, Uranus and Pluto, to me is revolution. Um, Pluto trine Venus is, deep commitment and love. And then, of course, the Uranus Venus, to me, that's freedom. So, and the Neptune makes that whole thing, again, we're only just talking about the sky, a little more spiritual, to have transmutation on some kind of spiritual purpose. The other part of the aspect that shows up is the moon in Leo, way down in the third house in the local environment, which bisects that Uranus Venus aspect. So again, like there's a big grand trine in air. There's two aspects in fire which are creating two kites. So the moon in Leo is the heart energy.
So, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
well, first of all, I just want to tell people if they need to see better, that you can like just click on the image and expand it yourself on your own screen if you need to.
Okay.
Just for those who need to see better. And then
Oh
also
wow, yes.
making
That's
yeah,
good advice.
thanks. Yeah. Um,
Wow.
and the other thing is that I think you hit on some really good points. You're such a smart astrologer. You just went kind of fast for me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Could you break it down a little bit more? So what the grand air trine, what
There's a grand trine in air with
minutes?
Pluto and Uranus. I
Okay.
mean, revolutionary energy in the ninth and 12th house. So the ninth house, philosophy, teaching, whatever. Again, this is not really connected to Lily's chart
Right.
yet.
You're saying the
They'll
grand
connect it
trine has
later, but that was the energy in Houston in the sky at the
right.
time Lily passed. So
Mm.
that Uranus and Pluto, I mean, that's revolutionary energy. It connects with Venus.
Yes, the V.
Pluto and Venus, I mean, is just such uh, closeness and loyalty.
Well,
It's almost like two people, you almost got a problem apart.
yes, and in Lily's death class, which I know we both were in, she talks about Venus a lot of time being a trigger point for death.
Well,
Yep.
and yes, absolutely. And the other thing I forgot to mention when we were talking about Eileen Newman was talking about these aspects. They don't have to be hard aspects to trigger death. It could be, and I'm glad you brought that up, a soft aspect. Like, for example, I have seen Venus in death charts.
Mhm.
Now, usually when you do see Venus, maybe the person has been ill for a period of time.
Mhm.
Not necessarily, but maybe and a soft aspect. Maybe the person has been ill for a period of time and they're just sick and the family gathers around, and it's a blessing
Right.
that they leave. So certainly that could certainly factor into it. Um, and the other one is that Leo energy, the moon at 8 degrees of Leo, in between the Uranus and Venus, which to me, represents um, connection, but also freedom. And that's the emotions and the heart energy. So there was a lot going on in the sky, and kites are interesting astrological configurations in that you can take that energy and you can harness it. And Lily and transmute it into something much more powerful. And Lily went out on that energy.
I,
That's the only thing what
I-
happened?
Go ahead, Lana.
Marina, I got something I need to say at this point. The
Yep.
the Pluto trining Uranus, okay,
Yep.
with Venus, which I equate Venus with value systems, okay,
Okay.
and this is sort of represented to me. This trine, this grand trine, is a changing of the guard in value systems.
Okay. That could be.
And so, to me, what I see in that is, we look to Lily to be the foundation for our value systems, or else we wouldn't have gone to her for counsel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We respected that. What I find interesting about this is that this is actually a transmutation, just like we've talked about earlier in the video of this class, about how it's time for us to take on that mantle. So it's a transformation of that energy, okay, to a more personal level for us.
Yes, and the other thing I wanted to mention was that I know it's not in Lily's sixth house, but in the sixth house in the chart in Houston, that Mars is in a health house, and Mars is your energy and your vitality,
Right.
and Mars is intercepted in this chart. So there's maybe a drain somewhere. I would kind of expect to see this and maybe see a lightning storm, but which I don't think happened. But Neptune softens that, and the fact that Mars is intercepted, and I think Venus softens it too. It makes it a much uh, easier energy.
Mars is intercepted in the sixth.
Mars is in the Houston chart
Okay.
at the time, not in Lily's chart, in the Houston chart. So if you go, I'm not seeing it there, but the one that I ran, Mars was intercepted in the 11th house.
Interesting. Well, I'm looking at this chart, and it was just listening to you. Sorry about lightning and how you were expecting lightning. And I'm a very electrical person, and the first thing I talked to Lily about when I had my first personal one-on-one class with her was that I was obsessed with lightning, and I wanted to die by getting struck by a lightning so I could go out like a flash. And Lily actually told me that she was almost struck by lightning, that she had almost got struck by lightning a couple of times in her life. And that made me even more confirmed that she was supposed to be my teacher. So, again, I don't know what everybody's comfort level is about talking about some of her health implications or some of the health things that I kind of feel like happened based on the chart. But I definitely think electricity was involved, and it definitely had to do with some kind of air, whether she was ascended, like you said, to another system or another frequency, Lana, or something electrical happened. So,
And I'd also like to address that. May I?
Okay.
May I address that?
Oh, please.
Okay, so first of all, I just need to say that I still need to look on Yvonne's phone for the moment she dialed 911.
Oh, I thought you
nine,
had that. I apologize.
no, 9:30 is approximate. It's really close, but it's not like to the minute. We still need to do that. But
Okay.
as you guys know,
Yes.
Yvonne's been very busy just taking care of Lily.
Okay.
So anyway, I will get that information to you as soon as
All right. We appreciate
as
that.
soon as we can.
We appreciate
The
it.
second thing, you're welcome. The second thing is thank you for doing this, because I haven't looked at this chart. I really appreciate you doing this, Marina.
And Lana's the
And it's
maestro.
so thank you, Lana. And it's so, oh my goodness, it's so perfect. Even if we're a minute or two off, what this chart is so perfect, because because Venus is the veins,
Yep.
number one. It's her relationship. And in this chart, it's in the 4th house. And Venus is in Libra, which is right on top of Lily's Saturn. We'll get to
Yep.
that in a minute. But just looking at this chart, Venus in the 4th house, she was watching television after a lovely dinner with
Yeah.
Yvonne. She got up to go get something and dropped. That's Venus trine Uranus, which rules the electrical rhythm of the heart.
Mhm.
Trine Pluto, it's time to ascend the body. I mean, this chart gives me chills.
Well, and if I make a Dari, with that Leo moon that Marina was pointing out, that has that connection with Uranus and Venus. That's the heart, right? That's her stomach was full and her heart was full.
Yeah.
So I feel like, yes, I agree with you.
And we also have to bring in Ceres. So,
Now,
Marina, do
okay,
you want to bring in Ceres?
Why don't we wait till we get to the progress chart? But before we do that, I want to quickly have Lana put up the natal chart on the inside with the death chart on the outside, just quickly, so we can look at transits, because we do know that the progressions are where the activity is. The natal chart sets it off, but I kind of wanted to look at the
You want the natal chart
those
on the
two
inside
charts
and
together.
death chart on the outside?
So natal on the inside and the death chart on the outside before we get. So that's on our list, Lana. That's number 3.
There you go.
That's number 3 on our notes we sent. Okay. So I gotta make this a bit smaller because oh, this is good. Okay. The thing that I want, so this is natal chart, Lily's on the inside, and on the outside is the transits at the time of approximate time of Lily's death. So the thing that I really notice, I mean, yes, we still get this grand trine in the outer wheel, right? With those 2 spokes. But the thing I notice from the transits at the time of Lily's death, because that death chart is a transit chart.
Right.
So the thing that I notice at transits, the most obvious thing I noticed at the time of Lily's death is that in the 5th house, Pluto at 1 degrees of Aquarius is making a square aspect to Lily's Mars in Scorpio in the 2nd house.
And she was
So
just
it's
talking about
really
that on Sunday. She was just talking about that on Sunday at the series class. Yeah.
okay. So I mean, really, you're dealing with your Mars, as Lily's vitality, and we'll probably get to this a little bit later when we're we'll focus on this a little bit later, but I just kind of wanted to point it out for you now because Mars is in Scorpio.
Mhm.
Scorpio rules Lily's 8th house of death, which is Aries. Okay, so Scorpio rules Aries, and Scorpio is disposited by Pluto,
Right.
and Pluto is making that square.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right. And it's
Can I add a couple of things to that real quickly?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So the ruler of Lily's eighth house is Mars,
Yeah.
as we see. Lily's moon is at the midpoint of her Mars Pluto midpoint with an orb of about 1 degree, 21 minutes. As you pointed out, Pluto is square her natal Mars.
Go slow,
but-
guy. There are students here. Go slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just showing that Mars and Pluto seem to be very involved with this.
Well, they are, and we'll
Yeah.
see later once we put all the, because we're going to put the three charts together, so it's going to be crazy. It might be a little crazy
Oh, I'm
making.
crazy.
Mars is has
Yeah.
a lot of activity.
But the final point here is her, let's see, transiting Saturn is almost directly opposite her Mars Pluto midpoint, with about a 2-minute orb using that 9:30 p.m. Birth time. So that Saturn transit really seems to be the final trigger.
Okay.
And the other thing that I see interesting is Lily has a Sun Chiron opposition in her natal
She
chart.
does.
And in the chart for her passing, we also have Sun opposite Chiron. And I see that opposition, Chiron's in her eighth house. So that creates a resonance
Yeah.
between the transit and something in her birth chart.
Okay. All right.
There's one thing that's I'm picking up on is the fact that the transiting chart midheaven is conjunct the North Node, which to me seems
Yes,
like
and yes.
Mhm.
Wait, the midheaven is conjunct the North Node.
Well,
I'm here.
in the outer wheel, yes, the midheaven is conjunct the North Node,
yes, and
so that maybe Lily's life purpose has reached its apex, has reached its
well,
peak.
and just to add to that, and then sorry, Lana, I jumped over you. Is
No, I
that
was just saying she went up.
yes, she went up, and like seeing that transiting North Node, like still conjunct her descendant, right? And then like the midheaven on the North Node, and I literally like just had a conversation with her because I was in the traffic of all the police that were going to the Evergreen shooting at the school the day Charlie Kirk was shot. And I talked to Lily that day. She comforted me because she was lovely like that. And she said the North Node always sets shit off. Like, just look at the nodes. The nodes are always when the dramatic shit happens. And I feel like chills right now because it was kind of like a foreboding thing she was telling me. And I do believe those nodes played a part, yes.
Okay, so is everybody okay with us moving to the next chart?
No, there's more to say.
Okay. Okay, girl.
So the main trigger, guys, is that she ascended when Pluto stationed direct.
Yes.
Not
and-
only was Pluto where it was,
Yes,
triggering
and
her Mars,
we can get
I mean,
to that.
it was
gonna
the
put-
most powerful point of Pluto.
Gary, we're going to put at the end of this, we're going to put the natal chart, the progress chart, and the transit chart together.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that Pluto
Yes,
stationing because it was
the
so
other
powerful.
the other thing is Pluto was also out of bounds.
Right.
So it revved up the power from Pluto.
Gosh, I didn't realize that.
And Pluto is a planet. And actually, Pluto I think it was, I'm not sure it was Casey, I think it was Casey who told us when we got the information on the death chart. Pluto has just turned direct today.
Yes, like I was well, I mean, I'm obsessed with Pluto, and then I'm also obsessed with Neptune. And like, do you remember one of our last classes she was talking about, or the last class I went to, I was like, is Neptune the higher octave of Venus? And Lily got really passionate and said, Casey, like she told us that Neptune was the abyss going to the other side, the thing that connects us all. And if you see how that Neptune and Aries is opposing Venus, like with her moon and Saturn, like it just is even more kind of mystical to me of how she ascended.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, so I would like us, if we can, to just look at the progress chart just by itself.
Okay.
And then we can, because I want to mention a couple of things very briefly. And then after we do that, I would like to put the natal and the progress charts, together. But just to look at the progress chart just for a minute by itself, because the progress chart contains the natal chart. It's what's happening on an inner level as you go through life. Your Your natal chart is a snapshot of the heavens when you're born, and the planets don't change, the angles change a little bit, not the midheaven, based on the different house systems you use. But the progress chart is based on the natal chart. I mean, the secondary progress chart that we're using here, if you were to look at an ephemeris, you would look, Lily was 73 years old. So this would be the chart that you would see if 73 days, 1 day for a year after her death, in simplest terms. But a couple of things about this progress chart I wanted to point out. And the thing is, Pluto is, and South Node is right on the midheaven of this progress chart. Right up in the top of in the sky. Well, in Lily's chart. So at an inner level, that can mean a bunch of things. That can be fame, that can be notoriety, that can be transformation and change. I know because I have a prominent Pluto, I know when Lily talked to me before about Pluto transits, not the progressions, that sometimes if you're older and you see Pluto progressing or transiting to the top of the chart, it could mean the company's sold and you lose your job, right? So on some level, something has to break down or die in order for something else to be born. It's not always negative. Like I said, it could be fame or it could be whatever. And the other thing is, and I don't want you to get into the uh, series yet, Gandari, because hopefully we'll look at that when we get into the other chart. But series in the progress chart, just looking at the progress chart in houses, is straddling is hard to see, is straddling that seventh house, eighth house,
Uh, Marina,
Gemini.
what is the exact degree of the eighth house cusp in this chart?
The degree of the eighth house cusp in this chart is 15 Gemini, so it's at the midpoint.
Right. So it's at the exact midpoint. That's so.
Now, it's the exact midpoint. Um, so Lana, I mean, poor Lana, would you put up the natal chart on the inside and then the progress chart on the outside? And we can see how it shifts compared to her natal chart, what's really going on. Okay, so it's a little bit busy, but one thing I want to point out is that, and Gandari, when we get to it, I'll get you to talk about series. But in the outer wheel, the south node transiting as not transiting, I'm sorry, the progressed south node has come to Pluto. Now I know nodes don't travel very much, and neither does Pluto, but Pluto is also on the south node, all in the 12th house, and then you have the midheaven in the 12th house,
Yes.
right? The other thing I notice in terms of progressions is Pluto, is up there in the ninth, and Lily's natal Pluto in the Coke system was in the ninth house. But not Pluto, Jupiter, I'm sorry, Jupiter has now progressed. It progressed from 13 degrees of Taurus to 20 degrees of Taurus, creating a square with that very powerful pocket in the 12th house. Now, at Jupiter, if you do progressions, and I'm was using a book that Lily told us about, secondary progressions. I'm just see if I grab the title here.
What you're talking about that, I just kind of want to randomly throw in
Progressions, Time to Remember, Time to Remember,
time.
by Nancy Ann Hastings. That Lily was 73. Like if you're 65 years old, for example, that's the ages she used. Pluto would do a maximum progression of 15 degrees in that period of time,
Yeah. Well,
What
right?
was the name of that
So
book?
Pluto doesn't go very far. Sorry, what?
What was the name of that book?
a time
It's
to
called
remember.
Can you put it
Time
up?
to Remember. Time to Remember. I don't know if you, oh wait, now I'm in the wrong, yeah. Time to Remember, Secondary Progressions by Nancy Ann Hastings.
And Lily was amazing at all of these books and
Yeah, she was.
books, and just 15 seconds. She would have loved that Pluto was at 22 and her South Node was at 22. Being the numerology whore that she was, like there, I think there's something there at the 22 with the South Node and the
Yeah,
Pluto.
that's a mic drop right there.
Well,
Thank you. It's
Well, I mean,
I
the
also
12th house,
her
the
progression.
12th house is the 12th house. I just want to continue on that and that theory, on that particular train of thought. The 12th house is other realms, okay? So it's making contact with that. And Jupiter, the progressed Jupiter in the ninth house is the natural ruler of Lily's fourth house of Sagittarius.
Well,
And fourth house of Sagittarius, the fourth house rules, the out is your life in. That's the ending of your life. Now, the Jupiter would have probably went past the aspect. It got up to 20 Pluto, and then it went retrograde. It got up to 20 Taurus, I'm sorry, and then it went retrograde.
right.
That progressed Pluto on the other chart in the ninth house.
But based on the workout theory, it's
can we state the
kind of
obvious?
like
I'm dying over
Sorry,
here.
what?
I'm dying over here. Can we state the obvious? Her progressed Jupiter was conjunct her natal Ceres.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
Where,
pretty.
where that Pluto? Yep.
and
Yeah,
their series was
that's
at
pretty
22 as
big.
well. The series was at 22.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later because I got something to say about that. There's a lot of Mars activity too. Gandari, would you Moon and Ceres is at the top of the chart in this progress chart. Would you talk about the Moon and Ceres, please? And when we get in, did I ask? Yes.
Okay, so you're asking me
In
to
depth
speak right
charts.
now?
Yes, I want you to talk about the Moon and Ceres in the depth charts. And I mean, you can talk about it. We got a little bit of time, so you can talk about it again later if you want to.
Well, unfortunately, I will be at the conference
That's
later. So
fine.
thank you for
That's
asking
fine.
now because I'm about to go join a group.
Oh,
But
yeah.
great. Yes, look at series. Okay, so series
Right up here.
is the progressed Ceres and the progressed Moon, and look at the progressed Saturn in the second house. Ceres is exactly trining Saturn, her planet.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
exactly. And Saturn is the physical body.
Wow. Gandara, I didn't even see that.
So, I mean, that is like so powerful.
Well, and then again, you gotta have something to trigger it, right? So we haven't got to the triggers yet, but yes, you know something is happening.
What is
Can you tell us what that emblem is on the ascendant that is 14 Virgo? What is that? The red emblem there.
Vulcan. This is Vulcan.
Oh. I
Oh
don't
my
do
God, the
Vulcan.
forge.
What?
The forge. Vulcan
this
is
is
the
Vulcan.
forge, and Ceres is exactly square the forge.
Yes, it is.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Okay.
What is the, well,
That,
what is
that's the main thing I wanted to point out.
but what is the significance of the moon in Ceres? I didn't hear anything that said specifically what is the significance of the moon conjuncting Ceres.
The moon is the vehicle of the soul, metaphysically.
Huh.
Okay. Gemini is the breath, right? It's the lungs.
Right.
And would you guys be okay if I got very specific about the last moment of her life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I was the second person. I was the second person called,
Yes.
and then I ran over to her and we escorted her to the
Yes.
hospital.
Thank you for asking. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so as Yvonne stated to me many times in the last few days, they had their favorite anniversary dinner with their favorite anniversary leftovers because they couldn't celebrate their anniversary dinner on the day for whatever reason. So they were wrapping it up that night. So they'd had the culmination of their favorite yummy cancer meal for their anniversary. And they were watching TV. They were fine. And she just got up to go get something. Like she walked toward the kitchen. Okay. And suddenly Yvonne heard her collapse. And when she ran over to her, she heard her struggling, like gurgling. Like so it literally cut off her
Wow.
breath. It cut off her breath. It was that sudden. And when I spoke to Yvonne last night, she said that she thinks that she was gone the minute she hit the floor because by the time she got to her, she said, Lily was so animated. She was so powerfully animated. And by the time she got to her, a few seconds later, there was absolutely, she said, I felt no energy. There was nothing. It was like she wasn't there.
Mm.
So it was that sudden.
Well,
Wow.
I'm so thankful that it was quick.
Me too.
Me too.
And I really, I talked about earlier the Uranus, Pluto, Venus aspect. I think she had an aneurysm that gave her a heart attack, and it just went. And I just feel like it was some kind of electrical thing, and I really feel that. And I'm so thankful that she went quickly.
Yeah.
We didn't know for a few hours because we didn't know, but yes, she did absolutely positively did not suffer, and thank God for that.
Listen, thank you for letting us know that, Mary. That helps.
Marina, we've got 22 minutes left.
We're doing good. So, does anybody else have any comments? And if not, we'll put up the tri-wheel.
Oh,
Listen,
wow.
I've got just one thing
Yep.
I notice here.
Yeah.
Let's see. It looks like her progressed Chiron is opposite her natal Venus and Sun, and progressed Venus is making a square to each side of that opposition.
Wow.
Where are they in the chart? I'm not seeing it.
Oh, Chiron, progressed Chiron Sun, the 4th house, natal Sun in the 10th.
Got it.
So-
Thank you.
Venus in the
Yeah,
1st.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
What is that thing in the seventh, that asteroid in the seventh at 7 degrees?
That's Pallas. That's Justice.
Oh yeah, Pallas
Pallas
Athena.
Athena.
Pallas Athena.
Which she was
The
a big
sword-
fan
And that's the
Athena.
sword, the goddess with the
Athena.
of. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is
Okay.
Eris.
Hi, can I ask one question? Did they do an autopsy at all?
No.
Okay.
the consensus is that they spent hours. I mean, at least an hour trying to revive her, which was, very violent on the body. And by the time we got to her, literally sat with her body in the hospital, Yvonne said, enough. We're going to leave her alone.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad she said
That's-
that because we all felt that.
Wow.
That had to be a very intense moment, Gundari.
Oh, it's one of the most heart-wrenching moments of my life to watch Yvonne say goodbye to Lilly. Let me put the camera on. It still makes me cry. It was so tender and so heart-wrenching. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Moon series also is two. She lived for her partner.
Yeah.
And her partner was there for everything, including the whole week that we've been through to make sure that her physical body is taken care of, which it is being taken care of now, guys. So that too, and Lily had Gemini at the top of her chart. So, once again, it was all about her partnership with Yvonne, but also her partnership with us.
Yes.
And Gemini is day-to-day communication. And as we all have experienced, she kept in touch with us, sometimes daily.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want me to put up 3 wheels? Is that what you want?
I would like to see the 3 wheels. I want to see what you got there, and I also want to see the depth chart on the outside. So the natal chart on the inside, the progressions next on the middle wheel, and then the last wheel, the depth chart.
Okay.
Those are the transits.
I don't see a 3 icon up here. Let's see.
There should be a tri-wheel.
I'm looking for
If
it.
you're looking at view, there should be a tri-wheel.
Here it is. Never mind. All right, so you want
There we
the
are.
natal chart in the middle?
Natal, no, I want the natal first,
Yeah.
and then I want the progressed,
Yep.
and then I want the transits, the depth chart. And it looks pretty busy, and I apologize for that. But before we get into it, there's a lot of Mars activity, and all of the Mars are active. I mean, the natal Mars is active, the progressed Mars is active, the transiting Mars is active in their death. Okay, so we'll get to that. But one other thing I wanted to mention was that I mentioned earlier, Eileen Nauman talked about eclipse charts. And there's another lady, she goes by the name Moon Rabbit. She goes by the moniker Moon Rabbit. Her name is Linda Zlotnick. Okay. And she does a lot of death and counseling for people going through death, and she uses the death charts as a healing tool. She talks about eclipses as well. Eileen Nauman says eclipses only play a role in 30% of charts she's looked at. This Moon Rabbit says it's really effective in a lot of charts she sees. And I remember having a reading with Lilly in May. And I said to her, Lilly, I'm going to have a solar eclipse at 29 degrees Virgo, right on my North Node. And I said, when that happens, there's big shifts for me, in my life and my life purpose. And she said, well, I'm going to be right there with you because my moon is at 28, moon in Virgo. And so the eclipses, the only thing about the eclipses, they're not necessarily as big a timer as some of the other things are. They're associated with light and shadow, according to Moon Rabbit, with endings and beginnings, and life events that can change a person's consciousness. Eclipses set in motion long-term changes, and they can be active up to 6 months before the eclipse or 6 months after the eclipse. And that eclipse, solar eclipse at 29 Virgo, was on September the 21st. So that's not that long ago. So I just want to kind of go back and do a recap. In the fifth house, you've got transiting Pluto at 1 degrees, and that's making a square aspect to Lily's natal Pluto in Mars in the second house. And that, speaks to, uh, I guess, the struggle that she went through with her vitality and her energy level. And again, um, Mars rules the eighth because Aries is on the eighth
Right.
and is also transmuted by Pluto, which is, is a powerful pocket in the 12th. Again, we've got transiting Mars on the outer chart at 15 of Scorpio in the third house of the environment is forming an inconjunct aspect with that progressed Ceres and Moon in the middle chart in the 10th house.
Right.
So that Mars outside 15 degrees of Scorpio is forming an inconjunct at 16 and 14 of Gemini. It's right in the middle.
Wow. Wow.
And again, we go back to that. And the other Mars aspect I see is um, something else sitting off to Mars. Bear with me. Now,
Take your
I'm
time.
being a little sentimental here. I mean, I know there's all these other aspects too. So, I mean, um, Lily did an astrocast every day for years and years and years. And the transiting moon, in this chart, I always feel the moon is a trigger point and it's a timer. But I noticed the
Right.
transiting moon on the outer chart on the day that she died was at 8 Leo in,
Uh-huh.
where's 8 Leo?
Right here.
I don't point
8
it. Right.
Leo is up in the 11th house. Was at 8 Leo. Um, and it was trining her progressed Mars at 8 Sagittarius down in the third house. And the midpoint of that, there was also a sextile to both of those at Saturn at 8 Libra
Huh.
in the natal chart. So, it wasn't a square, it was a trine. But again, we're talking about Mars being involved in all these things. So it speaks to the fact that the vitality was really being challenged and she was really struggling.
Well,
Um,
it's
When
can I make an
sorry,
observation here?
yes.
you
So
what?
I'd like to make an observation. You've got
Yes,
uh, death chart moon at 8 Leo. Then you're talking about the Mars progressed at 8 Sag. And then in our natal chart, it's trining Eris in Aries,
Aries. Yeah,
our house of partnership, which is Aries. Eris is throwing, for lack of better words, excuse my crassness to those people I do not know. It's like throwing a turd in a punch bowl. Okay. Eris was infamous for just, like mic drops. Okay. For lack of better words. Do you like that, Tara?
I love that. That's great.
Oh,
Aries Mercury approves.
there's a grand trine here being created between the death chart, the progress chart, and her natal chart in
yeah,
fire in some pretty significant planet/asteroids.
Just think
yeah. So there was a lot going on, and I mean, I know in terms of like I said, the Mars energy. Lily's vitality was really challenged, and that Pluto square. The other thing I want to mention about that Pluto square, and there's other aspects that are probably more exact than that, but that's like a 2 degree orb, and some people might say, well, that's it's not exact. But I listened to I listened to a recording, probably back in 2013, by Grace Morris, who did an audio file. It was an audio file from ISAR, International Study for Astrological Research. I used to buy recordings and listen to them. She did a talk about predicting the right way. And what she said was very, very difficult to predict timing, the timing of somebody's death. Um, People who have a lot of cardinal, like for instance, Lilly had 3 planets in Cancer and 2 in Libra. People who have a lot of cardinal energy, sometimes the activation, the trigger happens early because they're action-oriented people.
Interesting.
And so therefore, that's what they do. So it happens early, they're ready. She said fixed signs, it could be 3 or 4 degrees past the sign. And immutable, you don't know what's going to happen and when because they live in their head. So, and from that point of view, like I think that Pluto was very, very powerful because again, as Casey told us earlier, Pluto turned direct that day.
Mhm.
And it was, its station, it was out of bounds. It was very, very powerful. And we all saw like the last little while, she had a whole bunch of underground issues. Like uh, she had a problem with her water. They had to dig in underground. That's the Pluto energy.
Yeah, and like I mean, like I this might sound silly, and y'all can call me out if it's true, but all of that Mars stuff, like her air conditioning broke. She was hot, like fire. Like
Well, and the other thing was Lily said we did a courses with Lily in medical astrology. She said you have a Mars return, like she's talking about transits every 2 years. And so all that activity, and don't forget Lily as Mars in Scorpio natally.
Mhm.
What she said in her, I don't know if it was her first class or her second class, was that it takes a while for that Mars to get heated up because it's in water. You got to boil the pot, right? So that takes a while. The body holds that energy.
Right.
And then what happens is when you get mad, like you could overreact. But in the meantime, you're building up all this energy in the body, and it's a flight or fight response, and that is very, very hard on the body.
Yes.
So I just wanted to kind of toss it in there. I don't know if anybody else has any more things they want to say or
Well, she
commentary they want to add.
she was having a lot of angry emotional breakdowns at all the things that were going wrong in the house.
She was.
Yeah. She
So,
was-
I mean, that is consistent with your observation of Mars.
Well, and also like I was trying to pose kind of okay, so she helped me with the evergreen shooting, Mars, right? Firearms, and the Charlie Kirk situation, and then her AC, and then, I was trying to post unifying stuff on Facebook, which is really stupid because everybody just gets triggered. I stopped doing that, don't worry. And right, she checked in with me. She saw as an Aquarian trying to bring both sides together because I didn't want civil war, and I love everyone and I'm trying to get us to all evolve together. She checked in with me. She said, "How are you doing?" And I said, "I'm just trying to organize us and get us the same page so we can fight the government." And she said, "Good, I'm with you."
Yeah.
So like I feel like she was very passionate too
Yeah.
about what was going on politically.
She did, that cancer stuff is in her 11th house. That's the lady who's interested in causes. And Christopher Benton. Christopher, you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
No, I was
Go
just
ahead.
putting in the chat that I think having that transiting Saturn
Yes.
almost exactly opposite her Pluto Mars
Mm,
midpoint within probably a 2-minute orb. And then, as was pointed out earlier, Pluto just having turned stationary direct. I my suspicion is that those things made the transing Pluto square Mars with a 2-degree orb
Mm-hmm.
much more powerful than it would have been normally.
Yeah.
And then I'm really seeing the connection here between Sun opposite Chiron. It was in her natal chart. It was being activated in her progress chart by Venus, and then the Sun, which will move about a degree a day, it had pretty much just moved into opposition with transiting Chiron.
Right.
Yeah.
And that the transiting Sun Chiron opposition occurs in that second eighth house axis. So there were a lot of things going on there that I think made this a very critical time for her. I don't think that death is always inevitable, but
No.
this was definitely a critical time when something like this could have happened.
Yeah.
And Chiron is in Aries, and like I said, Aries is ruled by Mars. Aries is on the cusp of her eighth house. So I think the Mars-Pluto stuff and the Sun-Chiron stuff played a critical role in the events that transpired.
Doc,
And I just want to throw in very...
I was going to ask you a question. Do you think, Doc, that the progressed Chiron conjuncting her natal Chiron sort of amped up the energy a little bit?
Well, Chiron's not going to move all that fast. I'd have to go and check and see, how much it moved back and forth in her, during the course of her 73 years. She was born about a month after I was born. So our moons are trine one another. Her Jupiter is conjunct my Mercury. And, we were, as I say, sort of, in this mutual admiration society. We both, liked, respected each other as people, as astrologers. And, we traded insights back and forth from time to time on panel discussions, on Facebook, sometimes just through, Facebook Messenger and stuff.
Yeah.
But getting back to the Chiron, the progressed Venus was setting it off. Progressed Venus was squaring her natal Sun-Venus conjunction, and squaring the progressed Chiron also. So a lot of Sun Chiron stuff going on, a lot of Pluto Mars stuff going on that I can see in both progressions and transits.
Okay.
And it looks like perhaps this was all a signal that she had this particular journey she started out with, maybe with the natal Sun opposition Chiron, and now with that recurring again in various ways. Perhaps inside, she said, my journey's now finished.
Yeah.
And let's see, at my synagogue last Saturday, we said the mourner's prayer for Lilly.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Sweet.
Thank you.
And I'm just, sorry to see her go. She, some years ago, she was the first person I ever heard mention that America was going through the same sort of aspects, or would be going through the same sort of aspects that preceded the Civil War.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
She was the first person to bring that up. That got me a lot more interested in mundane astrology, which is really one of my passions now, along with doing scientific research, statistical research into astrology. And since she said that, within the year, you heard a lot of historians talking about it, a lot of, news reporters talking about it. And a lot of people now think we're in kind of a soft civil war.
Right.
Not between the blue and the gray, but between the blue and the red.
Right.
And if there's any silver lining here, it might be that, the country, we may be going through some tough stuff in the next few years, and Lilly gets to rest and help us from the other side.
I know.
Yeah.
I would like to say I'm kind of glad that she gets a rest from all the stress that we're going into, because she was such an activist. And Christopher, to your point, in the classes, she was showing us the declination is the same as the Spanish flu, as the same as the French Civil War.
Yeah.
And showing us how all the planets were lining up and how that was significant. And so thank you for sharing that. Marina, how are we doing on time and on the schedule?
I think our time is
done.
pretty much
1 minute
pretty
over.
much up, and I'm done, ladies and gentlemen.
I just want to say thank you so much, Marina. Like, I know I can't imagine putting 3 charts together like you just did and having to go over it. So I just want to extend my gratitude to you. And then Lana, thank you for organizing this. Tara, the meditation was chef's kiss. It was
Very nice.
beautiful.
Very nice.
Agree.
And thank
Yeah.
the